Doing any one of these upgrades will be a huge improvement to your WR. This is one of the best bikes out there, and it only takes a few cheap little tune-ups to get it amazing. Hey, how's it going? This is my 2008 Yamaha WR250r. I've had this bike for about a year now, so I figured it'd be a good time to go over the top 5 must-do mods and fixes to your WR250r. So I'm going to start off with what I believe is most urgent, things that are detrimental to the reliability of this bike. And I can start off by saying the WR is a super reliable bike. It's great. But there are a few little issues, especially in the early models, that some have problems with. The first thing is going to be your stator. So if you don't know what a stator is, it's what turns the mechanical energy of the motor into electrical power. So you can run things like your headlights. So in the 2008 to, I believe, 2015 WRs, the stator has an issue. There's actually a recall on this for safety. What happens with the stator is it can get so hot that it'll actually melt the glue inside and cause it to short out. So if this happens, you can end up stranded with a dead battery. It's no fun. Fortunately for us, Yamaha has issued a recall, so you can get this replaced totally free of charge. Just call up your local dealer, give them your VIN, and they'll tell you whether the recall's been done, whether it's required for that bike. They'll do it for free. So highly recommend, if you have a WR, you must do this as soon as possible. It's a huge reliability issue if you don't. So the second thing I'm going to talk about on the WR is totally free. All you have to do is remove an exhaust valve setup here. So the WR is made to pass emissions laws in all 50 states, including California, which is notoriously strict. Now, if you don't live in California, you probably don't have that strict of emissions. Some counties don't even check. So what you can do to make a little bit more power is actually remove all of this regulatory stuff on it. There's a whole set of plugs and exhaust valves that you can actually take out. I'll include a link in the description to more detailed write-ups on this, but the basic gist of it is you take out some emission stuff and you make a lot more power. Alright, so now we got the free stuff out of the way. The next thing is going to be your cam chain tensioner. So this little tensioner here is in charge of keeping your cam chain tight. So the Yamaha WR has an automatic cam chain tensioner that is a source of problems for a lot of people. You really don't want this thing to fail, but the automatic ones tend to fail. So one of the best mods you can do to improve the reliability of your WR is throw in a manual cam chain tensioner. Now if you notice, I have the stock cam chain tensioner here. I actually plan to swap this out, so I should be putting up a video of how to do it soon. So moving up to the front of the bike is the gas tank. Now a lot of people even commute on WRs. I've done a lot of commuting on this bike, and the tank is terrible. It's only 2 gallons. Now depending on what you ride, this might be okay, but for the majority of people, that's not. You're only going to get a safe range of about 100 miles on this bike. Now you might push that, but typically I can only go 80 or 90 miles before I have to fill up and get worried. Because of this, a lot of people swap aftermarket tanks. There are oversized safari tanks and a few companies out there making really nice larger tanks that improve the capacity of the bike and thus the range. This is really a must-do. It is not a luxury item for only the best of the best who want the nicest bikes. If you go on dual sport rides, they can go 150 miles or more without stops. You know, you ride with people that say have a GS or any of these big touring bikes, and they almost all have really big tanks. You're talking about 4 or 5 gallon tanks that can go hundreds of miles. So no matter the type of riding you do, the 2 gallon tank is just barely enough to get by, and it's a big upgrade. I am looking to do this in the future. It is expensive. So now obviously I haven't done this. I've been commuting on the bike and doing some little dual sport rides here and then, and I hate it. This is the next thing on my list. As soon as I can afford to swap this tank, I'm gonna. So take it from me, somebody who rides with this tank every day, it sucks. I highly recommend you swap any larger capacity tank in this bike. It'll be a huge upgrade for anybody. So moving on back to the seat. The seat is another sore point of the WR. This is less of a reliability thing and more of a comfort thing. Many people buy these WRs for adventure bikes. They'll go all across the world on WR250s, and they're great, but the comfort is pretty lacking on the stock seat. A lot of people choose to go to a seat concept seat. Now that's a great choice. I've not sat on the WR seat concept seat, but I have used seat concept seats on other bikes, and they are amazing. They are some of the best feeling seats you can get. So if you find yourself wanting a really comfy seat, I'd strongly recommend you change it. But this can be really expensive. It can be a few $100s. So if you're on the cheaper side like me, some of this sheepskin here can work pretty well. Now typically sheepskin is way under $100 compared to seats being a few hundred. Now granted, this isn't going to feel as good as a new seat, but if you're on the cheap and you want the best value you can, you don't really care if it looks stock or not, this is a really good way to go. So if you're looking to save money, I'd strongly recommend just getting one of these sheepskin seats, or seat covers. So moving on to the back, the next thing I've got for you is the Tusk rear rack. This is one of the cheapest dirt bike racks I've ever seen, and it's great. I almost feel bad using the word cheap. It's not. It's inexpensive. It's really well made though, and it is one of my favorite mods to the WR. If you're riding this bike, unless you have a tank bag, you probably have no storage. So this is one of the easiest ways to add storage. You know, you can throw a tool roll in there. What I do is I usually keep my rain pants on there. That way if it starts raining on me, I just grab my overpants and throw them on. But really, you can do anything you want. That's what's so great about these racks. They're versatile storage that you can add to pretty much any bike. And luckily, the WR has a really cheap option here. I'm a huge fan of that. It's from Tusk at Rocky Mountain. And I'll have links to all these things in the description. And if it needs to be said, I'm a small channel. I'm not making a dime off of this stuff. This is purely what I think is best because I've ridden with the bike for a year and I know where it's lacking and some of the best places you can add to it. So all in all, those are my top 5 things to upgrade on your WR for reliability and performance. Doing any one of these upgrades will be a huge improvement to your WR. This is one of the best bikes out there and it only takes a few cheap little tune-ups to get it amazing. So anyways, I hope you liked this video. Please be sure to hit the like button or even consider subscribing. I should have a lot more adventures and two-wheeled help, including the WR, up here soon. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and have fun.